Hey guys, my name is Tom and welcome to the first real devlog video on my channel. In this one, I'm going to implement interpolation for players, ships, and cannonballs, which should resolve the jittering and flickering of objects and allow me to send less data between clients and the server. I also want to add UDP functionality to my networking solution, so this video will likely be more technical with less visible progress to show off. If you're wondering why this is episode 17, it's because the first 16 parts of this series are on my blog in written form. If you're interested in those, there will be a link in the description, or you can watch my previous devlog which super briefly summarizes what I've done so far. This morning and afternoon, I've been doing a lot of research and experimentation with UDP. So far, I've managed to get a connection going and data can be sent back and forth, but only on my local network. If I try it through the internet, everything breaks down, so I'll have to take a step back and rethink how I'm approaching this. I'm really hoping I can get it done in the next few days so that I can start working on some networking tutorials using both TCP and UDP. It's now 12:10 a.m. and I've finally got the UDP connection working, even with clients outside my local network. I wasn't planning to be up this long, but the entire time I felt so close to solving this strange problem that I probably wouldn't have been able to sleep anyways. I'll do some more testing tomorrow, but for now I need to get some sleep. This afternoon I properly tested the UDP connection by sending the client to one of my friends. Data is being sent back and forth, with the only issue being the speed. Essentially, I make the server send 100,000 packets to the client, who's supposed to respond to each one. Unfortunately, the data is being sent so fast that the client can't process it quickly enough, which leads to the socket buffer overflowing. Once that happens, all incoming packets are essentially discarded until the client can catch up. Although this means that I'm losing over 80% of all the packets in my test scenario, it shouldn't be a problem in real use cases because no gameplay event would ever cause anywhere near that many packets to be sent within a few milliseconds. I also started cleaning up the UDP code, but I have to take my brother to soccer this evening, so I'll have to finish that up tomorrow. Today I continued cleaning up the messy UDP code, and I made sure that clients use the same port for their UDP and TCP connections, which helps make everything easier to understand. I also noticed that when a client is outside my local network, it has to send data to the server before the server is able to send anything back. In other words, the client basically has to initiate the connection. I'm assuming this is because the server's ports are forwarded, while the clients are not, but sending a message from client to server opens those ports, which then allows the server to respond. That also explains why this isn't an issue when testing within my local network. I'm still hoping to find a cleaner way to get this working, but in the worst case scenario, I'll just have the client send a single packet to open the connection. Alright, so it's currently 1:45 p.m. and I've basically spent the entire morning trying to get the UDP connection working without the client needing to send a message first. I was hoping to use this allow NAT traversal method to open the client's port, but after several hours of being confused, I finally found out that Unity doesn't seem to be compatible with it. There's no errors showing up in the console, but if I debug it with Visual Studio, it actually throws an exception. Sadly, Google doesn't seem to have any answers for me. As you can see, I have a load of tabs open, all of them to do with UDP and networking, but I just realized that I may be thinking about this all wrong. I'm going to have to rewrite a lot of the code, so unfortunately it'll take at least a few more hours to get this working. It's 10:48 p.m. now, and I've spent a big chunk of my evening first restructuring and then fiddling with the UDP connection, but no matter what I do, there's problems. I eventually took a step back and did some broader research, and I found out that typically only one UDP client instance is used on the server, which handles the incoming data for all the clients. This is really different from how TCP works, where each client gets its own instance of the TCP client class, which is what I've been modeling my UDP setup after. I'll have to rewrite most of my code yet again. This is really starting to get old and I can't wait to put this whole thing behind me. This morning I've been rewriting most of the UDP connection code for what seems like the 100th time now, but it's finally working. Multiple clients can connect simultaneously, and they can all send data back and forth, even if they're outside my local network. I apologize for the lack of progress on the game itself this week. I was really hoping to have this all sorted out and working a lot sooner. I'm usually pretty busy Friday evenings, so I'll probably just implement the UDP code into the actual game and leave it at that for today. Today I'm going to start working on smoothing out the movement of players, ships, and cannonballs. As you can see here, anything that moves jitters quite a bit because the server sends over its position and the client simply applies it. Alright, so it's evening now, and the last few hours have been pretty slow. In an attempt to minimize the differences between what clients see on their end, I've been trying to implement interpolation in a way that will also allow me to predict client movement. After reading a lot of technical posts and articles, I've decided that client-side prediction is something I'll save for the future. To be completely honest, my brain feels pretty fried, and this has really drained my motivation. I do still want to smooth out the movement of objects, but it won't be anything fancy for now, probably just a simple lerp. On Tuesday, I spent the whole day recording the first video of my upcoming networking tutorial series. I wasn't expecting it to take that long, but since it was my first time putting together a tutorial, I did a lot of things extremely inefficiently. Yesterday I had to pick my parents up from the airport, so I haven't made much progress since Monday. This evening I managed to get some basic lerping going. It's a little more complicated than usual since I'm sending position updates through UDP, meaning I need to be able to handle cases where updates aren't received in the right order, or just not at all. What I have now works, except it seems to degrade with time. The longer the player runs around, the more sluggish his movement appears to become. I have no idea what's causing this, but I'll have to do some more investigating tomorrow. This morning I did some debugging, and it turns out that the root cause of the issue is that the server's and client's time fall out of sync. When a client first connects, the server sends over the current tick it's on, and that is locally applied. Even though the time steps are set identically, as time progresses, the client falls ever so slightly behind, which affects his ability to properly calculate the correct position for players. I'm not sure why this is happening, but as you can see, the longer the player is connected, the slower he moves around. The red box is where the player should be, but it takes longer and longer for him to get there. For the rest of today, I'll just be editing this video, so I'll have to find a solution next week. Anyways, that's it for this devlog. If you enjoyed it and want to see more, please take a moment to smash the like button. In the next one, I'll be working on making ships syncable, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you always get notified when I upload another video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.